Today I wanted to talk about using this precision stamping press that I got on clearance at Walmart not too long ago, months ago. I think they've stopped carrying the Hello Hobby brand on things like this. They have some other stuff with a different brand, I think, now. I don't know if any of these are available anymore, but you can get this kind of stamping press. Other kinds. Some of them have hinges on them. I hadn't seen this kind with the pegs before. But I decided to go ahead and get it because the price was right. And I don't know if you do that or not. I don't know if I'm the only one that's sometimes swayed by the very good price over, do I actually need this? I haven't used this hardly at all. I did a few little test things and I thought, you know, I need to try this out and do something with it. See if I even need it. Maybe I don't need it. But what I did is I took, this is a piece of old sheet, and I just tore off a piece big enough to fit on here. And I taped it down with painter's tape so that it didn't shift around on me. This comes with these magnets, but I felt like with the fabric, it needed to be held in place a little more securely. I wanted to do some scripture quotes or just other quotes on some fabric, just for the fun of using that in a journal. So what I did is I taped the fabric down, and I don't really have any scriptures on these clear acrylic stamps, the kind that you use with these presses. So what I did is I went ahead and used my block stamps that I have that have scriptures on them. I have, each of us will be a blessing to the other. This one was too big to fit in after I got it stamped, but it says love one another. And this one is one I got recently, Be Strong and Courageous. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and it was $2.79. That was the only thing I bought at Hobby Lobby that day that was full price. I got everything else on sale. You know I love a bargain. And this one says, a sweet friendship refreshes the soul. So what I've done is I stamped those with this weathered wood distress ink, not the distress oxide that reacts to water. This one is supposed to be a little more permanent. If you didn't want to trust distress ink, you could use like archival ink. I have this in watering can, which is a gray color, and it's supposed to be waterproof. I'm not sure about the distress ink, if it reacts to water at all, but this is what I did. I'm not expecting to put this into water. So what I did is I stamped those on there with the weathered wood. Then I placed some stamps that have botanicals on them, a couple of other words, and this one has a stamp I got at Dollar Tree just the other day. I'm not sure I need all these, but it has some masculine images on there, or maybe steampunk, I don't know what, but it had this border on there that I liked, and that's what I'm going to stamp there. And I haven't used that at all yet, so I don't know how that's going to work. But anyway, let's get on with this. This has a grid on it that you can feel, so you want to use the slick side to get a better chance of the stamp sticking really well. And when I get this pressed on here, I'm going to move it more to the center here. Hopefully this will stick down well. I wish my table was a little more substantial so that it didn't shake every time I do something like this, but please bear with me. Okay, so now I've got all of the stamps on here that I'm going to put ink on and stamp. Put it right back on the way it came in. I've got these colors. This came all together with the weathered wood was one of them, and then it has old paper, worn lipstick, and this one is wild honey. So I thought maybe some of these would be good for colors on there. Although I kind of want that leaf pattern that I'm putting there to be green. So I'm going to go ahead and just use bundled sage on it. And it's not going to be waterproof or anything, but hopefully it'll be okay. So I'm just going to put the ink on there. And I'm not sure how it's going to stamp on the fabric. So this is all experimental, but we'll see how it goes. Hope you don't mind experimenting with me. That's some little berries. That might be cute in this pink color. The worn lipstick. And I just got ink on there. I need to get that off. Here's one of these dry wet wipes. Okay. I don't know if I got anything over here or not. I did right there. I'm bad about getting ink on my my blocks. Okay, and then this is also kind of a botanical. I'll do this. This is old paper, and it will be just kind of a neutral color. We'll see how that goes. Put a good amount on here. Okay, and then I want to put something on there. I think I'm going to use this archival ink on that. So it's going. This is going to be just gray in that case, but I think I'm going to be okay with that. I'm not getting it on there. That's one thing about having everything so close together. It's a little bit difficult to ink the stamps. But I guess a way around that would be not to try to do everything at once. Or have these little ones. That works really well. I'm just using the corner of this and trying to avoid the other things. And again, I got ink on there, so I'll get rid of that. This has, it has the border and it has the clear in the middle too, so that it's more substantial when you're working with it, which I appreciate. Okay, and I need to put a color on Garden. This is just going to be the flowers in that. I think I'm going to use this yellow color. Okay. All right. I think that's everything. I got that. And, oh, I didn't do, this says Amazing, so I need a color on that one. This is Dusty Concord is what it's called. So I'll just use it. And as I said, this is, I haven't even tested this out before, so it's all new for me as well as for you. Although you may be an expert at using these, unlike me. I think card makers use this setup more because they can put layers on, like a floral design that you can have multiple stamps of the layers of it. So like the center of the rose might be dark, and then you have lighter colors around, and then you have an outline color that you use with it. Okay, moment of truth. I think I have all the ink off of there that needs to go. Let's move this over some more here. Okay, this needs to go like this. And what I did when I stamped these is I pressed it down and I just left it sitting on top of the fabric for just a minute or several minutes, I don't know. I'm sliding around. And I think that helped it make a good impression, but this kind of bounces up when I take the pressure off of it, so I'm trying to press it down on each of these to get it to stamp the best that I can get. So, okay. Are we ready for the moment of truth? The great thing is, I got that sheet in a free pile at an estate sale a long time ago in Dallas. So it didn't cost anything, and it's amortized over the years. Okay, there we go. There's our result. The Garden is, that doesn't show up very well at all. That just really didn't do that well. But you know what? Here's what I can do. That one I'd like some more color on it as well. This one looks pretty good. That looks okay. And Amazing is okay. So what I may do is I may just leave everything like it is and put a different color on Garden because that is not showing up. I'm going to use Ground Espresso on it. And these little bumps are kind of in the way, but that's just the way it works. So. And that color was old paper, so it really didn't show up well at all. The green was kind of okay, but not real strong. I have another green that's darker. Sorry for all the rattling. This is pine needles. So I'm going to add some of this to that. I'm going to put this piece of card right here. I'm just going to put this over that so that I don't have to be so careful about not getting the green on it. This may be way too bright for this design here. Okay. And, oh, I wanted this to be a little darker too. I don't really like this green that much, but it does show up better, so I'm just going to put a little bit of it on there. Just need to put this back on the same way it came off, which is like this. And just press it down again, the ones that I need to redo. This might work better to put something else underneath the fabric. And I don't know if this ink is going to go through on my mat that's under there. That's a little foam mat that's underneath there to give you a good impression when you stamp it. So let's see how this did. Okay, that looks better. This looks better. I'm okay with that. Amazing looks amazing. And this little thing is good there. Or maybe I could add, I'm going to take all of these off and just add a leaf or something that is there. Take these off. So we'll just go back with this. And put it on like that. Pick that up. And then put some ink on it. I think I'm going to see if I can't get this bundled sage to be dark enough on there to get a good impression with it. I may add a little bit of the other just to give it a little boost. Okay. And what do I do with it? There it is. Okay. That's not how I had that. Did it go this way? Yes, it went that way. You have to be careful about the direction and pay attention which way you... I have to do that. You may be much better at this than I am. But I need to pay attention and not stamp it upside down or something like that. So, okay. So, it's time to take the tape off of here and see what happened underneath. Looks good. Did not go through, I don't believe, at all. Okay. So then I have my pieces, and I can take my scissors and cut them out or tear them out. It's kind of close, like there's a lot of space here where I had that tape on there. You might want to use just washi tape, which, like this washi tape would be a lot narrower, and you wouldn't waste as much space as if you use the painting tape. So, the other thing about this kind of stamp is, and I basically just showed you that when it didn't stamp too well, you can put it back on and stamp it again. But if you have a stamp that you know that is not going to stamp well, it's not a card. This is just a heavy index card. And I'm going to go ahead and put the tape on it. You know what, though? I'm going to try out these extra strong magnets that they have with this and just see how that works. And the stamp I have that I've stamped before and I didn't get real good results from it was this little unicorn stamp here. I think it's really cute. I'm not big on unicorns, and I have thought about just taking off the horn and just having it be a horse. But we won't decide that right now. Maybe I'll just put him up there in the middle or something like that. And then put this on. And I'm going to ink him with the purple that I have. This. Try to get good coverage on him. A lot of times new stamps don't always stamp the best. Kind of have to, I don't know, it's something like conditioning them maybe with the ink. See, I've got ink all over that now, so I need to wipe that all off because I don't want that getting on my project. Okay. I guess a unicorn would fit in a boho journal maybe. I don't know. I've got so much stuff stacked over there for the boho journal. It's ridiculous. It could probably be 3 or 4 books. And one of these days, I am going to do it. But I don't know what my problem is with that. I get sidetracked with other things and doing videos on other things. Okay, here we go. Just going to hold that for a minute and make sure it gets a pretty good impression. Get it to grab on there good. Okay, we'll see how that did. Oh, see, his legs didn't do very well. So I can go back. It still has ink on there, but I'm going to put a little more on there. I don't know why that doesn't stamp that well. Okay, we'll try this again. And I'll put more pressure where the legs are. I don't know if those magnets get in the way. Maybe that's a problem. It should be part of the deal, though, so that it doesn't cause a problem with it. Still didn't stamp that well. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this and put it up there. And maybe I can do better with the legs. Yeah, that did better. His tail is still not quite right. I'm going to move this. Get that tail. Get that tail. Okay, there we go. That's a pretty good stamp. Zip right across there. Now see how many times I had to do that. You could not do that if you were just using it on a block because you couldn't match it up. But that's what this does. And like I said, these come in different varieties. Some of them have a hinge on them, and you lift this over and you can put it back. This one just has the pegs. And I don't know why that's not wanting to stamp that well right there. I'm going to give it one more chance. It's pretty good. I'm going to go with it. So, anyway. Happy unicorn. Oh, scared me. Yeah, I think that was pretty much everything I had with this. As I said, I haven't used this before that much, and so I'm learning. But I think my unicorn finally stamped right. I think that was about 5 stamps on it to get everything stamped. But it looks good, and I'm happy with that. And I'm glad to have this system to print stamps like this that are known or turn out to be not reliable. So it doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't work with this. With this kind of stamp, you're just going to get what you get. And I don't think there's any way to change that. Anyway, that is what I wanted to show you for today, and I hope you enjoyed it and got some ideas about whether or not you'd like to have this. I don't know exactly how I'm going to use these little fabric pieces, but I think they're cute, and I'll find something to do with them. I may take those two apart and do something else with it. So I was looking at these again after I finished, and they were dry and everything, and I'm not real pleased with how this turned out. I was using this Distress Ink Weathered Wood on the words on this one, and it's really not very dark at all. And then I think I used the same thing here, and then I had some green on that stem, and I wasn't happy with that either. On this one, I think I used the Archival ink, and it's a little bit lighter than I wanted, plus I had a smudge right there, so I redid it. I redid a lot of them, or restamped some more with this, which is Black Soot, and I'm happier with the result I got with that. So let me show you some of those that I stamped. This is the same words as this one, and I stamped it in black. I didn't put the border around it this time, and I thought that was better. And be strong and courageous. Same thing here, much better quality there, although I did get a little close there where I cut it off. And then I stamped some other things too. I stamped this fleur-de-lis. These were all stamped with the black soot and beautiful. This is a stamp out of a Dollar Tree set, and it has some birds with it. And then I stamped this. This is also from a Dollar Tree set. And I started by stamping it in yellow, and the yellow just does not show up well enough to use it for words. It might be okay for a flower or something. But I went back over it with green and put the little butterfly on there, and I think it turned out pretty cute. I probably will use that on something sometime. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll use this on something too. But anyway, I was happier with my second go-around on those. And I also wanted to show you some ideas I had for what you can do with stamped images. And I'll start with this one, if I can remember where I put it. Here. This is for a tab. And what I did, I used a strip of fabric that I had that had these roses on it. And so I just picked a place that was kind of white and stamped Faith, Hope, and Love. And it doesn't show up real well, but I think it's fine. And I put a piece of paper in behind this part so it'd have a little more strength, and then glued it down. So I thought that was a good idea to decorate that page, and also have an indication that there is a flap there that you can write behind. Then I also did this one. This is another one I restamped. I kind of messed this up. I was going to stitch across the top, and my sewing machine did not like stitching on that. I think my needle is dull because I've been sewing on paper, and we know what that does. But anyway, this is a little pocket I made. I thought it could be glued down on a page. Let's just pull this back for a page to glue it on. Is this side of this one. You could glue it on a page. And then you could also have pocket back here, and then the fabric pocket here. And I think that would be cute too. And if you wanted to, you can make the back pocket from a different side. And this is just one of those scripture cards that I have that my friend gave me the set of. It says, "But you, O Lord, are a shield about me, my glory, and the lifter of my head." That's Psalms 3:3. This I stamped with the weathered wood and put the border around it. And I also stamped these little images over here on the side, and I really did not like the way that looked. So instead of just tossing it, I decided I just put this little fabric strip on there and just kind of camouflage it a little bit. This is just that little book I made to demonstrate sewing the 3-hole pamphlet stitch with the wax thread. And then over here, I had stamped Amazing, and it was just on this strip of fabric. So I put a piece of that paper behind it, used a safety pin, and pinned it down to this little die-cut doily. I have it on there with a paper clip because I'm not sure if I want it there for sure or not. But, I mean, that would be fine, too, if you wanted to do that. Or you could glue it down, stitch it down, or make it into a true hidden paper clip. So that was that idea. Then on this one, I used an idea that Kathleen Miller showed the other day on one of her videos. It was about using vintage photos. And I really liked the idea of using snaps. And she had snapped a photograph with some lace behind it to a page or a piece of paper. So I thought I'd do that with this, just with the fabric itself on the green paper. And I just used my awl. It's kind of fat, and I punched the holes up here. Had to redo it on the fabric because it wanted to close up. Anyway, thank you, Kathleen, for that great idea. I just love it. I told Kathleen I had a lot of snaps in my mother and mother-in-law's sewing baskets, but I can't find it. This was the only 2 I could find. So I need to do some more searching. And then on this one, I had stamped this, and I stitched it down with the brown thread to this fabric, which was pretty thin. Normally, I might have just used it as is, but it was so thin, I decided that I would back it with some of the sheet fabric, and I just stitched around by hand. You could stitch around by sewing machine. I just happened to decide to do it by hand. And I put a little button right there. And then what I would do is I would glue this down on this page, and you would have a flip up there to right behind. Or put a picture back there, whatever you decided to do. So that was some of the ideas I had for using the stamped fabrics. And I'm sure there are a lot of other ways to use them. And then that's, of course, the unicorn that I stamped. And I haven't done anything with it. I would just probably put this in a pocket or something. Anyway, I hope this gave you some ideas of ways to use stamped fabric and maybe have some fun with it. I'm sure there are lots of other uses for them besides the tab. And you could decorate this some more if you wanted to. You could put a word or something back there if you decided to do that. The fabric flip, this is just a little, I guess, attachment, just a fabric attachment on a page. Could be a flip, or it could be sewed or made into a pocket or a tuck spot or whatever you wanted to do with it. And then this is just a kind of a cluster, and you could use that however you wanted to. And then as a little pocket, you wouldn't have to put it on a card, but I just wanted to do that so I'd remember. And then this little fabric flip with the snaps. So I will link Kathleen's video down below so you can go check that out. She had lots of great ideas for using vintage photographs, and you could use the ideas in other ways besides of using photographs too. So I always enjoy Kathleen's videos because she has such wonderful ideas. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and got some ideas and have some fun. See you next time. Bye-bye.